I'm Mary Sandy, Director of the Virginia Space Grant Consortium, and I'd like to welcome all of you to our Virginia Aerospace Science and Technology Scholars Summer Academy Closing Program for our very first summer session. We have many special guests joining us today, and I'd like to recognize them. Renji Kumar, CEO Emeritus, Analytical Mechanics Associates, Inc. And if you'd like to turn on your cameras as I introduce you, that would be great. Charles Scales, Director of Business Development for Sierra Lobo. Doug Stanley, President and Executive Director of the National Institute of Aerospace. Amanda McCormick, Business Analyst, Boeing Defense Space Security of the Boeing Company. And Kay Core, Program Manager of Sierra Lobo. We also have from the Office of the Virginia Secretary of Education, Fran Bradford, Deputy Secretary of Education, and special legislative guests, Virginia Hagerott, Legislative Assistant from the Office of Congresswoman Luria, Cliff Hayes, Jr., Delegate, Virginia House of Delegates, Shelley Simons, Delegate, Virginia House of Delegates, and from NASA Langley Research Center, David Ledoux, Director of the Office of Capital Management at NASA Langley. And in just a bit, we'll have joining us Julie Williams-Byrd, NASA Langley's Chief Technologist. Other guests include Lynn McDaniel, Program Manager for the Center for Innovative Technology, Amber Wilson, Manager Aviation Technology for the Virginia Department of Aviation, Eric Patterson, Chair, Department of Aerospace and Ocean Engineering at Virginia Tech, Dimitri Popescu, Professor, Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering at Old Dominion University, and a member of the consortium's advisory council. We're also going to be hearing from Senator Mark Warner and Congressman Rob Whitman a bit later via video. Today is the culmination of a wonderful journey that's taken 71 Virginia Aerospace Science and Technology scholars as juniors and rising seniors through an in-depth learning experience based on the awe-inspiring work of NASA. The students in this class first spent December through April in an intense distance learning program in which they completed interactive modules that taught key science, technology, engineering, and math concepts through an exploration theme. Throughout their coursework, they were led by a master educator and interacted with NASA mentors and other experts. Students who did well in the course were invited to one of 3 one-week residential summer academy experiences with a focus on designing a human mission to Mars. You'll be hearing later from the scholars about the summer academy component of the program. When we first became aware again this summer we would need to hold our programs virtually because we were not able to access the NASA Center. My team worked hard to shape a virtual experience that would incorporate all the elements of a residential on-site experience to the greatest extent possible. And we were able to draw on our experience from last year. All of our partners have really pitched in to make this happen, and Old Dominion University's Office of Distance Learning has provided outstanding technical support. I've spent time observing the program this week, and I'm very pleased with the students' engagement in the virtual mode. But perhaps I shouldn't be too surprised about that because students are very comfortable with technology, and really all of us have had to become more comfortable with virtual environments over the past year and 3 months. Students are receiving 5 college credits for their participation in the program through Thomas Nelson Community College. Our scholars consistently tell us what a difference this program makes for their personal and academic growth, as well as helping to shape their career pathways. And the external evaluation for this program really confirms that impact. It's been a pleasure to work with NASA Langley on this project. And I can't say enough about the NASA and industry mentors who so generously donate their time to work with our scholars, and also the work of our master teachers and the help of our student interns who are all former VAST scholars. They will be recognized later in the program. We're also grateful to our partner, Thomas Nelson Community College, which works with us to provide the college credit. The Virginia Space Grant Consortium is committed to enhancing STEM teaching and learning and to encouraging students to pursue studies and careers in these fields. We believe that real-world applied learning experiences like Virginia Aerospace Science and Technology Scholars offer the very best kind of learning. And through the program, the scholars have been exposed to a wide range of STEM career fields while interacting with highly motivated NASA personnel. We're committed to engaging students from throughout the Commonwealth in all of our programs and engaging students who don't always have access to these kinds of opportunities. That is one reason why all of our programs, including VAST, are always free of charge to participants. We'll be tracking our scholars over the next few years to learn about their college and career choices and to offer information on future opportunities through NASA and the Virginia Space Grant Consortium. The VAST experience can also open doors to some of these NASA programs a little bit earlier than usual. Please stay in touch so we know about your next steps and can keep you apprised of upcoming opportunities that include scholarships, fellowships, internships with NASA and industry, student flight and design projects, and for those of you still in high school, our Virginia Earth System Science Scholars Program and our Pathways Flight Academies program. A number of companies have generously provided support for the program this year. They are Lockheed Martin Space Systems Company, Sierra Lobo Inc., General Dynamics Information Technology, the Virginia Aerospace Business Association, Boeing Corporation, the National Institute of Aerospace, and the Society for American Military Engineers. Without their support and the contributions of NASA Langley and the Commonwealth of Virginia, this program would not be possible. So we all sincerely thank all of our sponsors. The success of VAST is a team effort, and I would really like to recognize my outstanding staff for their outstanding work. And put your camera on when I recognize you, please. Our education program manager, Rudo Kashiri, does a wonderful job of overseeing this program for us. Ian Cawthray is the education program coordinator who leads the VAST program, and I want to thank him for his hard work and leadership. Priscilla Hill capably handles the many administrative duties that VAST requires and I know has been very much in touch with all of the students and parents. And Ryan Carter, our media specialist, has been documenting the program in photos and videos all week. And you're going to see the culmination of his work a bit later in the program. I want to thank all of the family members who shot at home videos and photos to help us capture the virtual experience. Congratulations to all of our scholars for their accomplishments in undertaking and completing the rigorous VAST program. You've been a great group of students, and I know you will all be making a difference in our world as you move into your chosen careers. Parents, you can all be very proud. It's my pleasure now to introduce Lisa Zeman, Associate Director for NASA Langley Research Center. Lisa will bring remarks from our partner, NASA Langley.
Well, thank you, Mary, and good morning, everybody. As Mary said, I'm Lisa Zeman. I'm the Associate Director of NASA's Langley Research Center. And on behalf of everyone at Langley, I'd like to say thank you so much for participating in today's event. And to all of our special guests, we appreciate you tuning in today. We've come together to celebrate the wonderful accomplishments of our VAST scholars. The Virginia Aerospace Science and Technology Scholars Program is a partnership between NASA Langley and the Virginia Space Grant Consortium. During this week-long virtual academy, the VAST scholars worked under mentorship of NASA Langley researchers, and they were also guided by leaders from academia and industry, as Mary went through that list just moments ago. So thank you to all of our partners for working us in this huge endeavor. Their assignments, so the assignments for our scholars was ambitious to say the least. It was to design a human mission to Mars. As we all know, we are going to Mars in a human exploration mission. So their efforts are really going to be fabulous to see. Thousands of our students from across the Commonwealth have participated in the VAST program since its inception, and it's been great to see it flourish over the years. It's grown thanks to the incredible support from academia, industry, and our state and elected officials. We appreciate the Commonwealth of Virginia and Virginia's General Assembly for funding of the VATS program, and we are deeply grateful for the business community's contribution to VATS. And of course, we're happy that so many of Virginia's colleges and universities are behind us as well. It's wonderful to see such strong support. Now I want to recognize another important group of people, the family and friends who encouraged and supported our scholars. Without their help, VAST wouldn't be the robust program we see today. As our scholars have come to know, Langley is rich in history. It's been the site of many extraordinary innovations in aeronautics, earth science, and space technology. Today, we look to the future with the same sense of excitement and energy that animated the work of Langley legends like Katherine Johnson, Mary Jackson, and Dorothy Vaughan. NASA is preparing to send the first woman and first person of color to walk across the surface of the moon. NASA will go to the moon as never before, with new tools and systems that allow us to thoroughly explore the lunar surface. We will use our experience exploring the moon for the next giant leap, and that is human exploration of Mars. The recent and what appeared to be pretty flawless success of the Perseverance rover and Ingenuity helicopter on Mars are just a prelude to this new era of exploration. Langley will once again play a vital role in this new era by creating and testing concepts, materials, and technologies needed for pioneering missions in deep space. At the same time, Langley researchers do more than work on space technology. We're also leading and helping to usher in a new exciting era of aviation. We're also studying the factors which contribute to climate change, and we're deepening humankind's understanding of our home.
Ian, maybe we could go to the video while Lisa reconnects.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sure that Lisa will be rejoining us as soon as she can. Small technology glitch here. So I would now like to introduce again our Education Programs Manager, Rudo Kashiri.
Thank you, Mary. And welcome, guests, special guests, parents. We want to welcome you this morning, friends and families, master teachers, interns, and scholars. This is our second year of doing the virtual academy. And I think by going through the second year, we learned a lot from last year. So this year, we were a little bit more relaxed. We kind of knew what we were doing. We also want to thank ODU Center of Distance Learning, Christian and your team. You're always very helpful. They made sure that the students had meeting rooms. They also had ways of communicating small groups, large groups, and we were able to recreate the regular classroom as if we were at NASA Langley. And also special thanks to NASA Center leadership. You provided us with everything that we needed to help the students get as close as possible to what a residential program is like. So we had tours, the ones that we normally do tours at NASA Langley. We had some virtual tours. We started with the gantry. Our very own Robin Hardy was able to show the students what the gantry looks like, and you also will see a lot of that in the video that you're going to see at the end. We also had a tour of the fabrication technology development branch. Thanks to Nancy Holloway's team, Jack Terry and Sam James did a wonderful job. The students had really enjoyed the presentation as well. From Legislation Affairs, Donna Lawson's intern also was very helpful. She showed the students what to do, and also some of the questions were answered during the, she also participated in the panel presentation. So we really enjoyed that. So our day started with Week at Langley, started with Monday's presentation. Michelle Farabee was very good. The students really enjoyed her presentation. She gave an overview of NASA Langley, which gave everybody a chance to see something and hear about what is going on at NASA. And then we students worked so hard this week. We also had students working in groups and sharing ideas. But we want to thank the parents who provided us with some videos and photos of their students. And this really helped to complete our story. When we have the students at NASA Langley, we see them working every day. We feel their pain as they're going through the projects and trying to figure out the missions. But when they were at home, we were not really able to see what was going on the other side. So the videos and the photos that you provided were very helpful. And you're also going to see them in the video, the closing ceremony today. Now, another thing that was really great, and I know Lisa, you were talking about our next mission where we're going to have a female on the Mars mission. I would like to let you know we had a first this week. This is the first time for VAS that we have more females at an academy. So that was exciting. And also you will notice in the leadership and as the teams present that they are also led by a lot of females. So that was great. Scholars, y'all did a great job this week. You learned a lot. The panel presentation was awesome. I'm hoping some of the parents had a chance to tune in and see the students. If you did not, sometime at the end of the summer, once all the academies are done, your child is going to get a list, the link to the presentation. So if you missed it, you get a chance to see it. If you saw it, you still get a second chance to look at the videos. Students learned how to present a professional presentation, and they were all professional. If you watched it, they did a great job. And also they answered the complex questions. You would not imagine that these students were only here for a week. There were so many questions that were being asked of these students that NASA people actually go through. So it was very impressive. They also learned a new vocabulary. As you go through missions and working with different programs, you get to learn new vocabulary. So that was something great. And I know that is something that you guys are going to carry with you when you talk to people and say, what did you do last summer? Not too many people are going to say, I designed a crewed mission to Mars. And also another big thing, one of the mentors told the students about the upside down triangle. Students know what I'm talking about. This is where you start with big ideas and try to focus them to a point, uh, showing details, and that really showed up in your presentations on Thursday. Now, one thing that I told parents on Saturday is your students are smart, and there's nothing that we could have done this week to make them any smarter. But we worked on those soft skills. In addition to your child being smart, they are walking away this week with a lot more skills that we call the critical skills. They learned how to communicate. It is really hard communicating in a virtual environment, but this team of students did a great job. They were able to communicate clearly and making sure that everybody's understood, and they also learned how to work as a team. And sometimes it's really hard trying to do teamwork with people that you're not in the same room, but they did a great job. And this year, ODU distance learning made it possible for us to even have little rooms in big rooms. And so that really worked out for if you needed like a two people presentation, well, you didn't have to disturb the whole class, and we were able to do that. So we really appreciated that. Another thing also students learned this week is responsibility. Usually at the academy, we have to wake them up. This time they did it on their own. I checked every morning. Everybody was there on time. So that was good. Each student had a job they had to do. They presented well. They shared as much as they could with the team. And also they learned that if they're not where they're supposed to be, they were getting fined, and I don't think we got a lot of that this week. So they were fined for being late or not turning in their work on time. So they really learned how to be responsible. Another big thing is they really learn how to make critical decisions. It is not easy to send humans to Mars and bring them back alive. There's just so many little things that people do not think about, and so many decisions that need to be made. And these students learned that this week. Another big part of this week is learning how to network. It's not as easy in this kind of environment to network, but I'm hoping students, you will look at lists of the people on the program that you will receive today, and also in your packet with your certificate. Now, some of these people you work with this week, you might want to look back and see, get in touch with them. You want to stay in touch with your master teacher, interns, and also the staff at Virginia Space Grant. You never know who you will be able to connect with in the future. I know that's one of the things that you heard from some of the students that did VAS that came back as alumni. They would keep telling you that they're still in touch with some of their friends from their academy, and also from the mentors and the master teachers that they met when they were at the academy. So this week was great. You all did a great job. Parents, you really need to be proud of the students. They learned a lot, and they are going to tell you a lot. You might not get it all today, but give them time. Students, I would like for you to take some time to reflect on what you learned this week. Sometimes you need to write it down as you go. You'll be surprised what you'll be able to use. I know one of the interns, Cameron, told you in the presentation yesterday that she still looks at her vast manual. So sometimes when you take notes, and you always look back to what the notes were and help you to remember what you learned. So one of the things I want you guys to remember is we want you to come back in other programs. I know Mary mentioned the Flight Academy, and also we have VES, which is Virginia Earth System Science Scholars. So please come back with those programs. Hopefully next year we'll be on center. So if you do VES, you'll be able to really tour NASA Center, NASA Langley. And also we want you to come back as interns. I know we have a few of you who are going to college. So when you go to college next year around January, let us know where you are, what you're doing. And if you're interested, that's when we do the application for interns. And also we want you to come back as mentors in the near future. Once you all go to college, get jobs, come back and help us work with the other students that are still going the same program. Now, I want to leave you with the words from Roger Crouch. I know we all had a wonderful visit with him. Presentation is always excellent. His message to you guys was, this is the end of the beginning. So you guys got a lot. Continue to build on what you learned this week. You want to look out for opportunities. I think one of your mentors yesterday, Dr. Ceasley, told you guys, do not just look to things that you like. Look also to things that you might, opportunities that you might not like. You'll be surprised what you will end up doing in the near future. Now, what we're going to do the rest of the time is, I know you're all ready to hear from the students. Before we do that, I am going to give it over to Ian Carteret, our coordinator for the program. He did a great job of organizing this. And Ian, I really want to thank you for all you do. You always make things look like they're easy, even complex things. I come up with crazy ideas and you always find a way to make them work. So Ian is going to introduce his team, and also you will find out more about what the students did this week. Okay, Ian.
Thank you, Rudo. And for my very first slide, I'm going to thank you right back. So thank you for the other VAST staff. The staff I'm putting out here, the key thing to remember is that these folks don't just work on VAST, they're also on our other education programs. So Rudo Kashiri, the education programs manager, thank you for all your support for me to do my job throughout this week. I know you're about to start with our other program just tomorrow morning. Priscilla Hill, thank you for everything you do to make sure the students were prepared to receive everything they got in advance. You know, they received their manuals, their shirts, and all the logistics that you take care of. And Ryan Carter, you put together the video we'll be showing towards the end after all the student presentations, and he collects all the images and made sure that we put to use all those things that all the parents so thankfully put into our Dropbox to take advantage of this week. So thank you for the other VAST program staff. So now I'd like to thank our master teachers. This program works by having a master teacher from Virginia to work with a team the entire time. So each team had an assigned teacher that does the grading and also encouragement and making sure the students are making progress throughout their mission. So what I'd like to ask is if each teacher in the order we see here could just briefly come on and just say where you teach, and then we'll go to each next teacher. So very briefly. Starting with Mitch.
Good morning. I'm Mitch Ligon, and I'm currently retired from Richmond Public City Schools and Virginia Commonwealth University, and am currently a consultant on educational design.
Good morning. I am Jeff Steele, working with the Mission Transit team. I am a teacher at the Central Virginia Governor's School for Science and Technology in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Hi, my name is Sherry Faley. I'm retired from Loudoun County Public Schools, and I'm currently teaching for some homeschools and doing some consulting for education.
Good morning. My name is Mohammed Babarji. I teach at West Point Public Schools in Virginia. And this is my, I don't know, since 2008, I've been with this program.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kelsey Stewart. I teach at Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology. And this is actually my first year teaching, so it was great.
Thank you to all the teachers. You put in so much work this week that it could not be done without you. And for another group that we absolutely could not function without, I want to thank our undergraduate interns. As noted earlier by Mary Sandy, all of these interns were alumni of the program. So all of these interns know exactly what the students have gone through to experience, a vast week. And actually, at least one, I believe one of these interns actually went through one of our other programs virtually last summer after we made that transition. So we have interns who actually also know what it's like to go through a virtual academy. So I want to thank each of these interns. If you could very, very briefly, each intern in the order you see, just say where you attend school. So just the one sentence version. Thank you. And we'll start with Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah Burrows, and I am a sophomore aerospace engineering major at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute.
Hi, I'm Will Butler, and I'm a computer science major at UVA.
Hi, I'm Zach Hetacola, and I am an engineering major at John Tyler.
Hi, I'm Zoe Farmer, and I am a computer engineering major at UVA.
Hello, I'm Caleb Felton. I'm a senior statistics major at Carnegie Mellon.
Go on to Madison.
Hi, I'm Madison. I am a sophomore at VCU, political science major.
Hi, I'm Molly Stephen. I'm a material science engineering major at Virginia Tech.
Hello, I am Darren Upton. I am a physics major at UVA.
Hello, my name is Charles Fry. I'm an aerospace engineering major at the University of Michigan.
Thank you again to all the undergraduate interns. They put in a lot of hours helping the students. They stay with the students the entire time. And, when we're working virtually, they are always with the rooms. So please make sure for the students, please thank your interns after we break at the very end in about an hour after now. We'll make sure, if you haven't received it already, their contact information if you want to stay in touch. And, you too can be an intern like them later on. We'll reach out to you at that time. So now we want to start talking about the mission itself that these students put together. So what we do is every student is assigned a job within a team. So every one of these 71 students is working on a different aspect of what's going on. So we have 5 teams representing 5 aspects of the mission design. And within that, between 14 and 15 students this week, we're working on every area within the teams to make sure that this mission design can be completed completely. So our first group that we always have present is the mission integration team. And to present on that, we will have Nicole Edenfield speak on mission integration. Nicole?
Hello, my name is Nicole Edenfield, and I am the System Manager for Mission Integration for Project Athena. I would like to start off by thanking all of the Mission Integration team members who worked diligently on Project Athena in order to ensure its success. You guys were phenomenal and did a great job. Next slide, please. The first 2 launches will be conducted in June of 2035 and will contain cargo to be used on the surface of Mars. Later in September 2035, one Falcon Heavy reusable rocket containing the crew habitation section of the Crew Transport Vehicle will also be launched and attached to the Crew NTV at the NASA Lunar Gateway, fully assembling the Crew Mars Transit Vehicle. 2 additional rockets containing the Nuclear Transportation Engine block halfway filled with fuel will launch in July of 2036. Following the initial cargo launches, 5 additional rockets will be launched beginning in July of 2036 and ending in March of 2037. In order to fully fuel the nuclear engine block vehicle. A second Falcon Heavy will be launched on September 7th, 2039, containing the Crew Dragon capsule and crew attached to the HLAV, where it will rendezvous with the CTV at the Lunar Gateway. The CTV, with the crew, will then embark towards Mars in September of 2039 and arrive into the low Mars orbit in late April of 2040. The crew will then descend and spend 463 days on the Martian surface before returning to the Return Transit Vehicle in LMO in late July of 2041. They will be returning to Earth in late April of 2042. Next slide, please. One of our commercial partners, SpaceX, will provide 2 Falcon Heavy launch vehicles for free. However, we must agree to making them a full mission partner, placing their logo on all vehicles and allowing some astronaut training to take place at their facility. Next slide. Another commercial partner, Bigelow Aerospace, provides us with an inflatable habitation module, which will save us $5 billion. However, the usage of their module raises the risk of micrometeoroid or debris collision. Next slide. Our final partner, the European Space Agency, will equip us with spacesuits and vehicles for EVA on Mars. However, the ESA will have the right of refusal for all data distribution, and at least 1 crew member must have a European citizenship. Next slide. The Athena project must take into consideration the following documents in order to abide by space law: the Outer Space Treaty of 1967, the Rescue Agreement of 1968, the Liability Convention, the Registration Convention, and the Moon Agreement. The Athena project must also take into consideration the following principles: the Declaration of Legal Principles, the use of nuclear power sources in outer space, and the Benefits Declaration Principle. Specific acts include the National Aeronautics and Space Act of 1958 and the NASA Authorization Act of 2020. Next slide. The crew that will be traveling to Mars will include 6 members: a commander, a mechanical engineer, a paramedic, a teacher, a meteorologist, and a scientist. The requirements are: must be between 24 and 32 years old, must be between the heights of 1.57 and 1.91 meters, must be between the weights of 50 and 95 kilograms, must be in good health with no prior heart, lung, or other underlying health conditions that could compromise performance, or blood pressure that exceeds 140/90 at rest. And they must have 20/20 vision or vision that is correctable to 20/20 in both eyes. Next slide. The main sources of power during this mission will be kilopower reactors, in-ground MMRTGs, and solar panels on the base and surface of Mars. The power produced will be consumed by several different systems: life support systems, waste, trash, and hygiene, appliances and equipment, communications, and labs and experiments. Key life support systems include the ECLSS and MOXIE for air and water, and the WCS and OSCAR for waste. Other key systems include hygiene, food preparation, and storage systems, radio communications, and power machinery. Next slide. The communications architecture will include an orbiter and a 5 Mbps radio, which will utilize the Ka band, a form of radio wave. Project Athena will utilize relay satellites already in orbit, such as MAVEN and MRO, in order to get our signal across. Next slide. As for the budget, Mission Transit will have $100 billion, Human Factors will have $68 billion, Science and Surface Operations will have $60 billion, and Strategic Communications will have $23 billion. This is the end of our presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.
And next, for Science and Surface Operations, we'll hear from Ishan Saha.
Hello! Today I'll be discussing the Science and Surface Operations plans for Mission Athena and giving an in-depth look at the experiments performed on the surface of Mars, along with the challenges that we might face. Before we begin, I just want to share how fortunate I am to be part of such an incredible team. The chance to form new friendships with students who share a similar passion for space is really rare, and it's awesome to experience that in high school. In the last week, our team has encountered and planned for some really fascinating science. So we hope to share a glimpse of our curiosities and excitement with you all. Next slide. Mission Athena's scientific explorations are planned in the crewed phase. So let's break it down. During the mission's transit, the crew will conduct cognitive and health experiments. Next, living on the surface of Mars for 463 days, the crew will conduct sorties, analyze data, and return Martian samples back to Earth. Now, after returning to Earth, we can study those samples to understand the planet's ancient origins. Next slide. Nevertheless, it's no secret that our mission to Mars is ambitious. So what drives our team to accomplish such a scientific feat? We turn to NASA's MEPAG goals, the goals that motivate Mars exploration. These goals question life on Mars, explore the planet's climate history, understand its geological origins, and prepares for human exploration. Not only do these feed our curiosities for a neighboring planet, but they fuel our experiments and decisions for the Athena mission. Next slide. To begin with, human experiments are crucial to prepare for future crewed exploration. The Athena mission is a great chance for this. Before and after the mission, MRI scans will measure brain function, and bone density will compare skeletal changes. Throughout the mission, collecting blood samples evaluates the crew's physical health, while puzzles and cognitive tests monitors the crew's mental health during this mission. Next slide. Now, where are we going? We are traveling to Mars Vallis, located in the Martian Northern Hemisphere, providing a safe landing site with abundant sunlight. This was actually considered for NASA's Curiosity and Perseverance missions. However, what fascinates us most is the presence of ancient river deltas and diverse phyllosilicates, which actually indicate potential life in volcanic materials. With some samples here dating back 4.1 billion years ago, studying Mars's ancient geology here can even help us learn more about the history of our Earth. Next slide. Now, once landed on Mars Vallis, we've selected 7 sites to conduct 49 return sorties. Based on hyperspectral data of this region, each site we've chosen is unique in phyllosilicates, biosignatures, and more. This allows the mission to study ample and diverse sets of samples, which are more representative of Mars's varying landscapes. The average distance of the sorties to our habitat is 63 kilometers, which is well within the capabilities of our rovers. Next slide. While some sorties are as far away as 100 kilometers away, our new technology still can make this a reality. Collaborating with the ESA, our two Hoffman Kaplan pressurized rovers carry the crew to long distances, providing crew accommodations and teleoperation for a smooth and safe ride. In addition, our EVA suits, equipped with polyethylene, polycarbonate, and more, actually plan to incorporate NASA's ongoing Perseverance rover data to make advances in material sciences and make the best suits that we can. Next slide. Finally, after conducting our sorties, our samples are hermetically sealed and follow strict guidelines to protect against chemical contamination and temperature changes. In the 1,000 kilogram sample returned to Earth, we carry a variety of clay and materials. With more extensive research tools and facilities post-mission back on Earth, Athena not only surpasses the MEPAC goals, but it paves a fantastic path for science in the future. Thank you.
And now for Mission Transit, Molly Singh.
Hello, my name is Molly Singh. I'm the system manager for the Mission Transit team. So I'd like to start by thanking my team. They did an amazing job throughout the week in researching and creating the different aspects of Mission Transit. So thank you all, you guys did a great job. So the overall requirement of the Mission Transit team is to transport all crew and cargo to Mars and back to Earth within 10 years. Our other requirements are to land and reside on Mars between 2035 and 2055, with a total of 15 safe launches. The picture shown is a visual representation of our cruise vehicle concept of operations. Not shown is the initial cargo phases, along with the transfer vehicle assembly phase of the Athena mission, in which the Mars surface supplies and the cruise transfer vehicle are assembled and positioned before the cruise launch in 2037. In total, 14 launches will have occurred before the crew launch, and 2 of the cargo phases requiring 4 SLS Block 1B and 3 Falcon Heavy launches. The crew transit vehicle phase will then necessitate 4 SLS Block 1B launches, 2 Falcon Heavy launches, and 1 Starship launch in order to assemble and position the crew transit vehicle at the Lunar Gateway. Following the crew's launch on the SpaceX Falcon Heavy on September 7, 2039, the crew will board the transit vehicle assembled at the Lunar Gateway stationed in lunar orbit. The crew will then travel to Mars, staying on the surface for 463 days before returning to Earth. In total, the crew will spend approximately 24 months away from Earth. Since all of the vehicles will be traveling directly to Mars, they will take the home and transfer orbit. This orbit connects the Earth's orbit and Mars's orbit, which makes it easier to reach Mars. When the vehicle leaves Earth's orbit, it will travel on the home and transfer orbit. Then the rocket will align with the aphelion of this orbit at the same time as Mars, and it will start orbiting the planet at 800 kilometers. Next slide, please. This will take 224 days to Mars and 272 days back to Earth. Since the crewed vehicles will be traveling to the Lunar Gateway to refuel, they will take the translunar injection trajectory, which takes about 3 days. The crewed vehicles will then exit the translunar injection and enter the home and transfer orbit similar to the cargo vehicles. A nuclear thermal propulsion stage will be used for the crew transit vehicle and to transport the uncrewed landers and their payloads during the cargo phases. The engine uses a solid core reactor with uranium fuel to provide the thermal energy required for the system. The system pumps the hydrogen propellant through the reactor, where it is heated and it expands into a gas out of the nozzle to create thrust. So the MDAV, Bigelow B330, and NTPS will be used in transit. The crew transit vehicle is a Bigelow B330, which has 2 docking systems, an airlock, and walls made of 18-inch thick material when fully inflated. The dimensions when fully inflated are approximately 6.7 meters wide and 16.88 meters long. The CTV is being used for crew transit to low Mars orbit and transit back to low Earth orbit for the return. So the first step of EDL is aerobraking, which is using air resistance to decelerate. After aerobraking, the protective heat shield is shed and thrusters are fired briefly to avoid collision with it. From there, the descent vehicle's navigation system can log onto geographic features and begin navigating towards the landing site while continuing to decelerate. As the descent vehicle gets closer to the surface, the landing legs extend to make contact. The landing legs are compressible for a soft landing and are equipped with a sensor to detect faulty extension to avoid a rough landing or unintentional activation of the legs. For re-entry to Earth, the Cruise Dragon EDL system will be used, which includes a heat shield, parachutes, and splashdown capabilities. The SpaceX Dragon capsule with an ascent element stage below is proposed to serve as a Mars ascent vehicle. In order to ascend from the Martian surface with payload, 200 kilonewtons of thrust is required, which can be accomplished by 6 XR-5M15 engines developed by XCOR. The MAV engines will be fueled by methane and oxygen, a mixture found on Mars. The in situ resource utilization equipment that will be used for collecting the methane and oxygen will be taken to the Martian surface during a cargo launch prior to the crewed launch. Once the MAV has traveled to lower Mars orbit, it will attach onto the CTV using an electrical docking system. Because the return journey from lower Mars orbit to Earth is expected to be 272 days, the MAV must be able to support the cargo for at least that duration of time.
And now from Human Factors, Alexis Blankenship.
Hello, I would like to thank each of my team members for being absolutely amazing this past week. You all have worked really hard, and I am very proud of the work you all have done. I have enjoyed working with each of you. The goal of the Human Factors team is to ensure the health and safety of the crew at all points throughout the mission. This includes providing a habitat and resources like food, water, and oxygen that are necessary for survival. We also provide power to the habitat, assess and mitigate risks, utilize resources found on the Martian surface, and provide radiation and contamination control for the crew. Next slide, please. Prior to the crewed mission, there will be 2 supply rockets sent. The first will send resources and supplies, and the second rocket will send the habitat materials. A third rocket will be sent later, and with the crew and more supplies. Afterwards, the crew will spend 463 days on the Mars surface performing research and experiments before ascending the Martian surface and landing back to Earth. Our habitat is the Roger Crouch Martian habitat, named after NASA astronaut Dr. Roger Crouch. It has 4 levels, including sleeping quarters, a lab, a med bay, and more. There are 4 windows as well as a skylight in the habitat to provide natural lighting. There is also an underground bunker to provide a space with extra protection from large solar activity. The habitat will be 3D printed and ideally will be built in around 120 hours, including excavation. There are a few parts to our environmental control and life support systems. The water recovery system uses multiple processes and has a 95% recovery rate after each cycle. We also have the Sabatier assembly that can produce water and methane from carbon dioxide and hydrogen gas. The air revitalization system produces oxygen and filters out trace contaminants. For air pressure, we will be using the inert gas nitrogen to bring the air pressure to that of Earth's sea level. And for thermal controls, we have passive systems such as multi-layered insulation, as well as the active systems such as heaters and a photovoltaic thermal control system. Next slide, please. For in situ resource utilization, we have multiple systems that will either create air, water, or fuel. These include the MOXIE experiment for air, the fog mesh system for water, the Sabatier assembly and methane mining for fuel, and the Resolve rover as a backup system. Some safety requirements for inhabiting the surface of Mars include airlocks to keep the habitat safe from the Martian environment, decontamination rooms, and radiation protection on the habitat as well as the astronauts' EVA suits. There will also need to be pressurized rovers to keep the astronauts safe outside of the habitat and backup life support systems. Next slide, please. Some challenges the astronauts will face on Mars include isolation and confinement, being put in high-risk situations, and changes in their physiology. These things can cause possible psychological effects on the crew. And to mitigate this, there will be a crew member with a background in psychology, as well as a teletherapy system where the crew can video themselves talking, send the video back to Earth, and get feedback from a psychologist. Next slide, please. In general, each crew member will have a wake-up routine where they eat breakfast, exercise, and get ready for their day. After that, they will have a daily planning meeting, and each crew member will have time during the day to work on their research and perform any necessary maintenance on the habitat. Social time will also be built into the crew's day to ensure their mental well-being. Next slide, please. The proposed habitat power sources we will be using are 6 kilopower reactors, which are uranium fuel nuclear fission power systems. With 6 reactors, they will generate up to 60 kilowatts of energy. To mitigate any risk of radiation exposure from these, the 6 reactors will be placed 100 meters away from the habitat in a modular shape and buried about 3 meters deep underneath the regolith. In the unlikely event that these reactors are to fail, it is important that we have backup options to keep the habitat running and the crew healthy. We are bringing 2 solar panels that generate 1 kilowatt of power, and also bringing 5 multi-mission radioscope thermoelectric generators, also known as MMRTGs, that will produce a total of 0.55 kilowatts of energy. Thank you.
Next, from Strategic Communications, Max Ship.
Hello, my name is Max, and I was Assistant Manager for Strategic Communications this week. The goal of Strategic Communications was to create realistic visualizations of various steps and develop educational and public outreach programs. I just wanted to give a big thanks to all my teammates for the hard work this week. Next slide. The first step on our agenda was to determine a mission name. We chose Athena to be the namesake of our mission for her qualities of wisdom, heroic endeavor, and strategy, all of which we hope to mirror in our future trip to Mars. Next slide. The next step was to create an initiative statement. When creating the statement, we aim to highlight the monumental step Project Athena is taking towards advancing human knowledge of space. I now give everyone some time to read it over. Don't worry if you didn't get enough time to read it though. Next slide. As we also created a visual to disperse out to the public, including the key points from it. This is shown on the screen now. Next slide. Once the mission name and initiative statement were created, it was on to the mission patch. This is shown on the right. Some of the items we included were Athena symbols, such as an owl and olive branches. Next slide. Project Athena was spent over 3 years and multiple rocket launches. To ensure that the public is ensured in its mission throughout this entire duration, we developed outreach programs. Some of our outreach programs covered 2 focal points. First were the public outreach events, such as pre-mission fairs, Q&As, and social media interactions. Next slide. Second portion are our educational programs. Project Athena will host educational workshops for all grade levels, and we will partner with the learning communities to inspire the next generation of astronauts. Next slide. With the international scale that Project Athena will take, we must be mindful of our government relations. Listed on this slide are the various laws and policies that we will be following to ensure mission legitimacy. Next slide. Pictured on this slide is a communication plan concept containing commercial and international partners. Next slide. Additionally, during this week, Strategic Communications created various visuals and proposals that inform the public of vital mission factors. Next slide. The first visual we created was a general location graphic. This features some of the important details, such as the location name and coordinates. Next slide. Following the location graphic, we created a visual timeline featuring the important dates, which is seen on the left, along with a detailed map highlighting the landing and habitat site, which is seen on the right. Next slide. Lastly, we created a science graphic that includes our mission goals, requirements, and instruments. This graphic and through our presentation will be dispersed to the public to keep them informed and interested in the mission. Next slide. for coming out this morning and hearing our project with Athena.
Thank you to the 5 system managers for their excellent presentations. And as noted earlier, the full 2.5-hour version will be made available to students later on, so you can go review the full version, later as well. So now we will have some students talk not about the mission that they designed, but the experience they had throughout this week. So if we could have Elijah come online and talk to us a little bit, and then we'll go through that list.
How's everyone doing today? My name is Elijah Simpson, and I was the Deputy System Manager as well as the International and Commercial Cooperation Specialist for the Mission Integration Team this vast summer academy. So really just to speak about my experience, my biggest takeaway is just the experience as a whole in a fast-paced setting. The past 4 days, it's been a constant struggle with never having enough time and never having enough money, even though it's fictional. So really just grateful for that because, watching my parents work, they encounter those same problems as well. And additionally, just working through failure. This past week, there's been so many hiccups, so many times where like, I feel like I can't do this. And, really just working, continuing to hone my soft skills and my communication skills throughout this week. And really just the experience working with all these other extremely competent people and intelligent people who share the same interest and passion for space exploration and space systems was great. And I'm really grateful for the VAST program for putting this summer academy together.
Thank you, Elijah. Hiba?
Hello, my name is Hiba Ben Halim. I am the MEPAG Goals Analysis for Science and Surface Operations. To start off, I would like to thank all parents for coming to this meeting and supporting your child. Your child has gone through a diligent and insightful week full of new and improved experiences and skills, such as communication, teamwork, and problem solving. Your child has definitely earned their place and role to be in the NASA VAST Summer Academy. Additionally, parents, you can confidently say, and maybe even brag to other parents, about how your child has helped NASA make a mission to Mars. So go and pat your child on the back for all the hard work and commitment that they made to the VAST team. And as for me and the students, I'm sure I could speak for everyone when I say this week has been interesting, well-driven, and a fun experience. We've worked together as a team and program to make a huge project, and I'm so proud. It definitely pushed and challenged a lot of students, including me, out of their comfort zone, and I'm sure we all know pressure makes diamonds. We've learned time management, effective communication with our team members and others, leadership and determination to create and build a mission to Mars. Additionally, this program absolutely assisted our passions, future careers, education, and lifestyle. So thank you, students, for being here and becoming a bigger and better person than you were a week before, because I know I have. And thank you, parents, for being there for us on such a memorable day. It means a lot. This program was definitely an honor to be in.
Thank you, Hiba. Samira's up next.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Samira Nanda, and I'm the Deputy System Manager of the Mission Transit team. I think the VAST experience was definitely very gratifying. It gave a lot of students a chance to interact with one another. And I know in many counties, it's one of the few places that you can truly have an engineering experience that really isn't limited to just basic conceptual understanding. We really got to refine any sort of skills such as communication that we don't really practice, especially after the virtual school year where we've all been locked in either with our cameras off or we've just been, I know personally, I've been a little bit shy to just speak at all. The VAST experience really gave us to reach out back into those STEM roots and to make sure that we're working on skills that will be important in our future. And it's a very rare experience to have for just so many students across the country. So I'm very grateful for that. And I'm also very grateful to be able to work with so many amazing students and amazing mentors who just share my interests, share my passions, and have the same dedication towards science. So that was amazing experience. And I encourage anyone, for any siblings or just any younger persons that you might know, to really encourage them to do this program. It's definitely very beneficial. For example, many of my friends who are in this program as well, if you don't know if you want to do STEM, if you don't know whether engineering is right for you, this program is definitely, it will help you decide what you want to do for your career path. And that's not something that a lot of other programs can say. The VAST experience is truly life-changing, and I encourage everyone to take part of it if they can.
Thank you, Samara. Biswash?
Good morning, everyone. So, hello, my name is Bisus Tingana, and I worked as a radiation specialist for human factors team. So, like beginning with my childhood, I was interested in the field of astronomy and space science, and I was always fascinated with the complex designs and mechanisms that make a rocket run. Especially about, I had a lot of questions about the moon, the Mars, and how we have day and night. And I remember that when I came to high school, first I heard about the program called Virginia Space Coast Scholars, and that gravitated me to apply to learn more about the questions that I always had on my mind. And VSCS was a unique opportunity to me, and by participating on Virginia Space Coast Scholars in my sophomore year, I learned a lot about NASA's work in exploration and significant discoveries. Along with that, I got an authentic experience with master's teachers and learned about how to write college-level technical reports. And last year, summer, I also got a chance to participate on the Summer Academy of VSCS. And the most important part of the Summer Academy was Dr. Ed Murphy's lecture, which strengthened my feeling of space exploration and made me more curious about UV and radio astronomy. Along with that, this year's Space Invest has been most exciting part in my journey toward college. Like I lived like a scientist for a week, which was very fascinating. I got to collaborate with all my teams and learn important common lessons such as the importance of effective communication. VAST was where I was able to contribute my knowledge and learned about the landing and impact research facility of NASA Langley Research Center and learned a lot about landing and impact. And along with that, I spent a lot of time in the groups, and this will be very memorable and has prepared to me engage in insightful conversation. And it also taught me to come up with a solution to each issue I'll be facing, especially thinking outside of the box. And importantly, made me ready for life after high school. And always be on my heart because I got valuable knowledge regarding the Mars missions and beyond. And one of the things that I could not have learned from research was about the astronaut Roger Krauss, because he taught us that to never give up, keep trying, and even if the destiny doesn't apply with us, because color blindness and dozens of rejections couldn't stop him from achieving his dreams. So taking this experience, I hope to remember all the lessons I learned throughout the academy and apply them throughout the life. Thank you.
Thank you. Robin?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Robin Spencer, and during this program, I served as the Public Affairs Specialist for the Strategic Communications team. The Virginia Aerospace Science and Technology Scholars Summer Academy has been one of the most interesting and educational summer programs that I have ever been a part of. Through working with the other teams, I've learned what it takes to communicate with different departments, how to trust the people on your team, and even how to overcome the wide array of challenges that arise when working on a big project. I'm happy that I can utilize the skills that I've learned here in the future. I'm excited to explore more STEM-related majors and careers, and I'll never forget the friends that I've made here. Thank you for this opportunity, and I'll remember this experience forever.
Thank you, Robin. And this was made by one of the system managers. That's just a thank you from all the students to the master teachers, the interns, the mentors, coordinators, and parents. So just for that to be viewed there. And now back to the next remarks. Actually, we have the media specialist video to play to summarize what it looked like to go through this virtual academy.
All right. Good morning. I'm trying to figure out what time it is. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. I need to be going tomorrow, but I know.
I think probably the most memorable favorite part is when my team as like a whole just got to like kind of talk a bit right at the end of the second day of the academy. I felt like we all got to know each other really well. We've all kind of got to like get a bit closer, and I feel like it kind of prepared us for working together as a team in the next couple of days.
I didn't have that big of a perspective into like the inner workings of the NASA facility and everything. So just the ability to view it from someone who's had that hands-on perspective for years on end, I think that's really fascinating because if we're sitting in a virtual environment, we're trying our best to really optimize that experience. And the fact that I was still able to gain that experience even amidst this looking at a computer screen, I think that's amazing. So,
Our budget outline.
I personally would have never thought of having a fabrication lab. I had no knowledge that something like that even existed. And it was really interesting for me to see that there is just so much that you can do with I wouldn't say so little, but it's just amazing to see that things like that even exist.
Yeah.
I worked on the features for surface radiation.
They're kind of scattered throughout this document, so I'm going to tell you a little bit right
I think the biggest highlight was talking to Mr. Roger Crouch today. So he was a previous NASA astronaut that got to go into orbit multiple times, and he experienced what spaceflight was like and all those interesting things that you dream of as a kid. So just to hear those experiences from a person who has actually done it rather than fantasizing about it was really interesting. He was a really invigorating storyteller, and he just had a unique way of describing things that I hadn't really heard before. So it was really interesting, and it kept me engaged on hearing him speak about his experiences.
Before, when I first heard about it, I didn't understand how much more it prepared you for, and I thought it was just focused on space. So even if someone is not particularly keen on doing something in space or working for NASA, it still gives you a very good chance at meeting other people and people that are very driven and want to do very high demand projects just for fun and being able to work with others. I think that's something to consider when wanting to do this program because it exposes you to a lot more resources, I would say, and just not the panels, but the presentations that they give you as well. And even if they are space focused, you get to understand more of like job outlook and stepping up into like adulthood and getting ready for college, but more actually like, jobs and understanding that the professional level.
What a wonderful job all the scholars did in presenting the mission, and it was just great to hear about your experiences. Before we get into some additional congratulatory remarks, I do want to recognize Dave Hudson, Senior Associate Vice President for Research at UVA, who's joined us, and great to have you here with us, Dave. And we are also pleased that Senator Mamie Locke has joined us, and Senator Locke has been a great supporter of our programs, and we are just so pleased that she was able to arrange her schedule to be with us today. At this time, I'd like to introduce Fran Bradford, Deputy Secretary of Education for the Commonwealth of Virginia, who has also been a wonderful supporter of our programs. Fran, can you join us to make remarks?
Good morning, Mary. Thank you. It is always a joy to be here and really appreciate the opportunity. Never easy to follow the video, and I think this is one of the best videos so far that I have seen after all these couple of years. This has been a really exciting hour, and really grateful for the opportunity to participate and watch and hear from the students themselves. I'm pleased to bring greetings on behalf of the Governor and Secretary Carney, both of whom knew I would be with you all today. As Mary knows, I look forward to this event every year. I have not missed it. And this program is among the best that Virginia has to offer, and recognizing the value of exposing students from all backgrounds across Virginia to STEM-related activities and careers. And even though we are not in person, I am especially pleased to share the virtual stage with some esteemed guests, including Senator Warner, Congressman Whitman, Delegate Cliff Hayes, and always a joy to know that Senator Locke, who is a great supporter of this program, is with us as well. And each of the folks I just mentioned are huge champions for STEM education. I would like to thank Lisa and the entire NASA team, one of my favorite places to visit, and to Mary and her team at the Virginia Space Grant. And thanks to our higher education partners, as well as our private sector partners. This would not be possible without you. It is also not possible without the master teachers, mentors, and interns who you heard about earlier. This takes a lot of time, and just could not do this without them. But most importantly, a special congratulations and thanks to the families who support these vast scholars. We all know that without you, these scholars would not be here. And finally, a huge congratulations to the scholars themselves who completed a really challenging experience and under unusual circumstances. I was excited to hear about the results of your work. And as you discovered and may not have realized going in, planning a mission to Mars is not easy. And every year I am reminded that it has more components than most people realize, including human factors, mission transit, science and surface operations, mission integration, and strategic communications. And your exposure to these amazing STEM concepts and how they interact with each other will serve you well. A huge shout out to all members of each team for your hard work and making this understandable to those of us who have not spent a week learning about this and putting together the mission. While we haven't been able to have this event in person, that fact is itself an important reminder of the need for constant innovation in education, in science, and in life. And you as vast scholars are in a great position to continue innovating. Know that this is just the first of many amazing steps you will take in your journey. So again, congratulations, and thank you for letting me join you all today.
Thank you so much, Fran. Really appreciate your remarks. Delegate Hayes was with us until just a little while ago and unfortunately got called away. But we're glad he could be here for much of the program. And now we will have a video with remarks from Senator Mark Warner.
Hi, I'm Virginia Senator Mark Warner. As a fellow enthusiast for tech and innovation, it's an honor to be able to join you, at least virtually, and say a few words today. I want to begin by applauding all the Virginia Aerospace, Science, and Technology scholars on your hard work in completing your academy. As you all know, your admission into this academy was based on outstanding work you did online. That's no easy feat considering how hard it's been in a learning environment, surrounded and dealt with by COVID. As Virginia's senior senator and chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, I know how important it is for our nation to have a workforce of people that are competent in STEM. Frankly, our adversaries, even during COVID, have not taken their foot off the gas in terms of investing in new technologies, whether it be cybersecurity, whether it be 5G telecommunications, semiconductor chips, artificial intelligence, quantum computing, you name it, our adversaries are investing. And it's critically important that our country makes the same kind of investments in the research and development in the hardware, but also in the human capital that will drive the economy of the future, but also protect our nation. Matter of fact, as somebody who's also very interested in space, I know that a lot of the innovation that went into your academy will help our country make sure that we put a man or woman on Mars as soon as technically feasible. I can't commend you all enough for your skill, determination, and hard work. It will pay off. Thanks again, and congratulations.
Okay, and our last remarks come via video from Congressman Rob Whitman from Virginia's 1st District.
Well, hello, scholars. Again, congratulations on all of your efforts that you have put into Virginia's Space Grant Consortium's Aerospace Science and Technology program. The online learning, the virtual opportunities that you have had in learning realm, even in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic, I think have been an extraordinary opportunity. And remember, this is a two-way street. So not only do you learn in this process, but what you do in that process also helps those individuals that are involved in aerospace science and technology, both at NASA and across the United States. So you have made a significant contribution there. I want to thank you for all of your efforts. I want to also encourage those that are going to be part of the Summer Science Academy. That's a great experience. I've had the opportunity to go by NASA and speak to the Summer Science Academy scholars, and the experience that you will have there in person. Those things are incredible. I know your experience online and virtually has been incredible too. So I want to thank you for those efforts. I want to congratulate you. It's a real honor to be part of that program. I want to encourage you to continue within that realm of aerospace science and technology. It is indeed critically important for our nation. It's an exciting field. So please continue to take what you've learned and build upon that. I know that there will be even more exciting opportunities for you in the future. So again, congratulations and thank you. I wish each of you God's continued blessings. May God bless our great Commonwealth of Virginia. May God bless our United States of America.
Okay, we'll now move to Lisa Zeman for closing remarks from NASA Langley.
All right, Mary, can you hear and see me? And my apologies for my internet issues earlier.
Yes, we're all set.
All right, thank you. So thank you to all of our dignitaries today for your inspiring remarks to all of our scholars. Thank you again to Mary and her dedicated staff for all of the hard work this week and throughout a semester of online coursework. Your efforts are very much appreciated. Thank you. And to our VAT scholars, great job on your Athena presentations. I am just totally blown away. The professionalism, the attention to detail, and the technical expertise you demonstrated is just out of this world. So great job. You participated in this program because of your passion, your curiosity, and your eagerness to make a difference in the world. This experience introduced you to new possibilities and opportunities to practice leadership. Over the last week, you did get an opportunity to experience many of the challenges and opportunities in planning and executing and designing a complex space flight exploration project. A lot of the challenges I hear those daily in NASA with regard to the many projects that we have in place to achieve our mission. So you're well on your way to learning those valuable lessons. You also manipulated data and variables and simulated designs and surface operations for a human mission to Mars. You worked virtually and persevered through remote work with some really incredibly and talented and creative people. You gained an appreciation for the challenges of getting to, living in, and working in space. And you learned why it's vital to communicate what you do with the world at large. All this took place with help from our master teachers and NASA mentors who have shown the light on outstanding students from all over the Commonwealth of Virginia. I can tell this was a challenging week and a rewarding one. Congratulations to all of you. I hope that this week you witness the value of diverse perspectives, experience, and backgrounds. Here at Langley, we know that inclusion fuels innovation. We depend on the fresh thinking that comes with teams with many different backgrounds and viewpoints. As you graduate from this program, consider yourselves part of the family. I hope this week's experiences gave you a sense of it's inspiring to see what we can achieve. And together we are reaching wherever your career takes you. I encourage you to try new things, difficult.
That Lisa dropped, but I think we got most of her remarks anyway. So congratulations, scholars. We know this group of scholars is going to accomplish really great things, and we look forward to learning more about your future accomplishments. Please do stay in touch. Godspeed to all of you. This concludes our program. Thank you for participating. Our scholars will now return to their team rooms to spend time with their colleagues. Thank you all for joining us.